Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the Black Lodge. I'm David at Drinks Whiskey. I hope you are all doing really well. It is August 2nd. It is my younger brother's birthday, so happy birthday, Andy. If you're watching, I highly doubt it, but in case you are, happy birthday. It's been another lovely Saturday down here in the south of England. Hope you have all been keeping well wherever you have been the last couple of weeks. Obviously summer months, therefore we kind of do it fortnightly or thereabouts. Great to see people already coming into the chat. You may notice we've got a new wee bit of a setup going on, so bear with me if there's any technical difficulties or anything like that. I think the music was a wee bit loud there, so I'm just going to hopefully fix that. Let's see, who have we got? Who's in this evening on the chat? We got PX is in. Hope you're doing well. PX, great to have you in. Frank's in. Petehead, great to see you. Cujo's in. Hi, good to see you. Lowlander. We've got Thomas Jones. How you doing? Derek's in. Good to have you, mate. Hope you're doing well. Frank's saying hip hip hooray for Andy. There you go, Andrew. See, people do care. People do care about your birthday. And hello, it's yourself, Alan. Hope you're doing well. So, it's all been going a wee bit cushy setup. There's been a lot happening, PX, and for the guys on the Patreon that follow me on Patreon, there was a bit of discussion. It's been happening the last couple of weeks about the old Black Lodge and some of the changes that I just kind of. It's been a few years. The setup I'd built this. We got this 2020. It's been 5 years, and I just fancied something a wee bit different. More so because I just never had the space to do what I wanted to be doing. It's kind of like everything was just a bit kind of make do, because it kind of just evolved over time. And I thought, right, if we're going to be doing this more frequently, let's get a space sorted. Let's get it all kind of done. I'm still kind of testing it out, like the mic placement and stuff. I'm not quite happy with that, and it's still a wee bit dark behind me, so I might need a wee bit more light behind me so you guys can see. But I've also got other wee bits and pieces on the go. You know what it's like, always trying to make it look a wee bit better. But we changed the back. You may notice in the background, and you will in videos moving forward, I don't have that old G-Plan 70s style unit anymore. I loved it, but it just never really served its. But it was meant to be when it was just going to be a wee tiny bar for friends and family before the whiskey obsession took over. And then I just found that was quite limited in what I could put on the shelf, and so everything was underneath constantly on the floor, and I didn't know where anything was. And so I reached out to the great Drinks Whiskey Patreon community and was like, look, what do you think? Do you think this is silly? Do you think I should go for it? And so the consensus was like, we like it, but it's up to you. And so I was like, right, bit the bullet and did it. But also, it kind of came off the back of looking at those bottles and just thinking to myself, that's a lot of bottles. You know, it's a hell of a lot of bottles that I've got. I don't even know half of them of what I've got. Should I make a video that's, here's my bottle collection, without it being like, look at all my bottles, but more, here's everything I've got, here's what I've got through, here's what I need to remember I've got. And just clearing those bottles out just cleared the space, and we just went for it. So you may notice the difference, and also the angle's different because I now have a full workspace in here for the channel, with the stream set up all in one place, good to go, ready to hit just a few buttons, and it should just take off. So loads going on. loads going on. Let's see who else we've got in. We've got Codger in, good to have you in, mate. Great to see you. John's in. Great update about it. Thanks, Frank. Appreciate it. Oh, what else we got? Everybody's chatting away. And then the cabinet on the right looks posh. That was a wee local pickup. So that's been in here the whole time, but it's been here where I'm right now. And normally the stream's here. And I'd bought it to go there with the old setup. And I'd taken into account the measurements, which went for, let me put my finger, for here to there, right? But what it never took into account for was up there. It lips out just a couple of centimetres. And when I got it back and I put it in, the lips just stopped it. The lips and the feet just stopped it going into that position. So I had to make do here. So the intention was always for it to be there. That is the bourbon cabinet. That's all American whiskies in there. And it has a very unique scent because I think the woman that used to own it climbed inside it every time she wanted to put perfume on. It's very potent, so try to get rid of that smell. What else we got in? We've got, because you're saying very smart, it needs a party to christen the new look. It does, Codger, it does. I need to get more people around, especially when you see the bottle video, which once I get that edited and up, it's a long video, so you'll need to indulge me. They always say kill your darlings and try and make videos short. I literally almost go through every single bottle I've got, and just a wee tale behind each and why and whatever. And it's quite funny, I can remember everything about most of them, like why I bought it, who I bought it, who gifted me it, when did I try it, etc. But I can't have that many bottles. I need help. Need help getting rid of them. Evening, Tom. Great to have you in. I'm just saying, I'm having a look through. We've got the Whisky Fringe coming up, and I'm sure we'll talk about that a wee bit later. And I'm seeing a few people talking. I found last year's program when I was doing all this, and I thought how great. Literally yesterday, I opened it up and looked at it, and I thought how great is this having all the bottle prices in it. It's a great wee relic as well to see what bottle prices were at a certain point in time. So they've not got them in this year's. Lowlander, I did, very much so. On the Patreon, I reached out to the guys because we're working on a latest Drams on the Run edition, which is Glasgow and Edinburgh. London was obviously edition 1. For anybody that's new to the channel or doesn't know about what Drams on the Run is, it's a channel series on my channel where I go out and about around places. But for the Patreon folk, I created a bespoke zine, little zine, magazine style booklet for London, the whiskey scene in London and what's going on there. And the aim is to get the Glasgow Edinburgh one done. Now I want to get that done by going on the ground a lot of places, but time's ticking away, and I'm not finding the opportunity to somehow just pop up to Edinburgh for the day and run loads of bars and take pictures and stuff. So I'm just trying to collate as much as I can so that when that happens I can just very quickly snapshot stuff and get it done. But no, it was a big help, Lowlander, thank you so much. What else we got in? Let's see. Mark's in. Good to have you in, Mark. I was just chatting. Setups looking great, mate. The whole thing looks like a whiskey TV studio. That's the plan. That's the plan. I want it comfortable. I've got, these are my armchairs, right? I bought these armchairs when I first got the lodge from an old woman down the road. 2 of them. I've got identical ones. My tartan armchairs. And I just never really get the chance to use them in the videos. So when I say to my wife I was using this as my streaming chair, she's like, you'll be like that at the desk. And I'm like, it doesn't matter because I'm just controlling the desk from here. But I have propped up with another pillow. So normally I'll wait a wee bit lower. Yeah, I think the printed version is just the PDF, is it not? Evening, James. Good to have you in. just see anything else. Right, let me comments away. So tonight's theme, I was kind of thinking about what would be a good wee point, conversation. It's summer, everybody's got a wee bit of a lull. In terms of whiskey news, there's no huge amount of whiskey news happening out there at the moment. Everybody's keeping their powder dry for September. It feels like you've got Whiskey Fringe coming up, which everybody's really excited about. That's going. So jealous of the folk that are going to that. You'll have a wonderful time. Last year was great. It was so good. It's a long old shift though. It's a long old shift. And so I kind of settled on like what would be an interesting topic that everybody can engage with. And I just thought, really, Drams of the year so far. But it doesn't need to be Drams of the year that maybe have came out this year or that, but just your pick, your Drams that you've been really enjoying this year, that you've found yourself go back to. I'm going to spoil it on my point of view. I'm just going to put them up so we can kick it off. These are my highlight Drams of the year so far. And there's other ones that I've completely forgotten, other ones that I don't have bottles of and stuff like that, and I'll talk through them. But for the purposes of this evening, we've got, what's that? That's 7 Drams there. Excuse me while I'm having a wee tipple. And they range from, as you can see, you've got Springbank Local Barley. I've loved that. I've literally got the dregs of that bottle, and that will just be getting finished this evening because it needs off the shelf. But I'm fortunate that I've got another one. I've got obviously the Longrow 100 proof that came out this year. That's just a great dram, just a great drinker. We've got Indri, and we'll talk a wee bit more about these later, but 2 of them are new. 2 of them I've only had for a couple of weeks, but I'm just really enjoying them now. And so that's what I want to talk about. I want to talk with you guys about what are we enjoying, what's kind of tickling your fancy this year. Have you found your palate shift a wee bit over the course of the year? Have you found it shift because it's summer? Because I know I have. I've been on a bit more bourbon, especially bourbon barrels at the moment. Really into those. Yet there's still some sherry there that I'm really enjoying. So I thought that's a nice wee theme. We'll get into that tonight. We can talk about it. At the moment, to kick us off, and as I always ask at the start, let us know in the chat what's in your glass. I started with the, you can see it behind me. It's the Glasgow, it's not the Glasgow blend, is it? Is it the Glasgow? No, it's the Artist blend from Compass Box. It's 43%. I've had it for ages. Finally opened it a while ago. Again, dug it out. And I just found that a wee bit underwhelming for me at the start of the night. So then I went back to Old Faithful, the Glenmorangie that's there. And I poured some in to try and liven the blend up. And it's brought a bit more vibrancy to it. So I've kicked off with that, just as a nice little palate cleanser. And then I'm going to have a couple of my favoured Drams so far of the year. So absolutely, let us know what's going on in the chat. Now let me go back to the chat, see what's been going on, try and catch up. Lowlanders offering me and Alan can go around on a barcrow and take some photos for you, although the photos wasn't even come out with blurry. I would really appreciate that, guys. Honestly, I'll probably take you up on some of that offer. It's more that I like to try and just, if it's my thing, saying like I've recommended this, but the photo element, absolutely. So I also just want an excuse to come up to Edinburgh and go around and do a ton of Drams, to be fair. I've never had the chance to go on a proper Dram visit to Edinburgh. Glasgow, a lot easier because the hometown and I can go and see my mum and stuff, but Edinburgh, I could even join these. Maybe I just join these. Maybe that's what we do. Maybe we make it one of those, but it's just finding that time. Alan's having a Dram of the Circumstance. Is that the Thompson Brothers Circumstance that you're having there, Alan? See, I'm just going through, try to catch up in the chat, guys. Apologies, didn't be quiet. Peathead's palate slowly moving away from grapes. God, man, that's quite a shock. That's happened so quick. for you, Frank. Tom's on Glengarry 12, now having a polished off some Glengarry 12, now having a Farkless 21. Fantastic. Did anybody pick up the Glengarry offer on Amazon? I think it was 35 quid for the Glengarry 12, which is normally 50 quid. 45, 50 quid. So if you manage to catch it, I know everybody's kind of hating old Bezos, but sometimes it helps. James is saying money's tight, so not many bottles being bought this year. I've really enjoyed the Signatory Vintage Kahlila 10-year-old, though cracking value, especially being sherry matured peated and cast strength. No, absolutely, James, those Signatories are fantastic value. I think we're on the same boat in terms of the pickups are a lot less frequent, and we're looking for good quality and value. I know that I've found myself in the Whisky Exchange a couple of times recently, picked up a bottle and then I've put it back down. And it's just been one of those things. So it's definitely that, and that's why I think the topic of conversation tonight is not just on new stuff this year. I'm saying what's been your drams of the year so far. It could be old bottles you have, or old stock, or something you've picked up this year. It's just to kind of understand your palate, so to speak. Mark, my summer whiskey of the year, Ardnamurchan Madeira. Fantastic, mate. The Madeira one, I kind of I didn't mind it. It wasn't my favourite Ardnamurchan. Codger's been slaying his Kilkerran 8 cast strength sherry recently. Yeah, I've got, you can see behind me, all the Kilkerrans are out as well now, just to try and push me towards getting into them. Usually I've got some Kilhome and Sanig just from a free driver dam they sent me home with my last distillery visit. Yes, I like the Sanig. I really do like the Sanig. John's enjoying both London distillery releases. Nice. And Alan's having the Sucker Club. Okay, the cast strength. I did have a Thompson Brothers circumstance too, though. And Frank's saying that old Jeff isn't allowed to sell alcohol in the Netherlands, so no focus on whiskey on Amazon myself. Yeah, I appreciate that. It's just weird here that sometimes you can get some weird deals on Amazon, and it can either be stock clearances or whatever, and that Glengarry just dropped to that price. You never see Glengarry 12 OB at that price. I resisted myself because I still got some on my shelf. Things could get very messy very quickly. I'm not sure how much video would be usable towards the end of the evening. Oh, I know. That's one of the hazards of the job, Lolander. You should see me trying to edit whiskey festival videos and whiskey event videos. Absolute nightmare. Still waiting for my SMWS bargain. It's been cancelled. Yeah, mine was cancelled as well. The code that went round. Derek saying Indre Drew is my go-to at the moment. The Glenmurray 18 also for great value. The Glenmurray 18 value-wise is unbelievable. It's a duty-free pickup as well if you can get it. Just fantastic. And then yeah, the Indre Drew, which is behind me. It's just phenomenal stuff. So weird. In the best possible way. Evening, Anthony. Hope you're doing well, mate. Yes, we've got PX saying Dram of the Year, Glendronach, 31-year-old cast strength. Bottle of the Year, E.H. Taylor, SB, Bunker Storage, Surprise of the Year, Speyburn, 15. Good picks there. Can't say I've had the Glendronach 31 cast strength myself. Scotch Mist, how you doing? Having some woven homemade. It's okay, but not as good as the super blend. I agree. The homemade's alright. It's drinkable. It's good. But super blend's just a step up. Did a tour tasting at Ardnamurchan a few weeks ago. Most recently popped into the Borders Distillery at lunchtime Thursday. When you were up at Ardnamurchan, did you get the Paul Noir single cask? Because it killed me that even though I was up in the Highlands, Ardnamurchan is in the arsehole of nowhere. It's so far to get to, and I just couldn't get near it. So I couldn't get that bottle. Anthony's killing off an Indri bottle tonight as well. What you on? What one is it you're killing off? James, a mate visited me from the UK. What's that? Surprised me with a bottle he picked up duty free. It's the Lake's Boundless. No age statement. I think it's a travel exclusive. 48% ABV and a proper sherry bomb. I think I did I see that? Did I see that at London City Airport? I feel like I saw a Lakes exclusive. The Lakes at the moment have went a wee bit funny. They were doing all those whiskey maker limited releases, but there was so many of them. And then they got in a little bit of trouble, and then I think they changed some of their staffing and makers, and then Nightimber bought them. Yeah, Nightimber bought them. I don't know if they're kind of realigning it, but they've been a wee bit quiet of late. Rob Smith, welcome in, mate. Hope you're doing well. And could you say whiskey of the year so far? This is the Cavalan Fino Solist. It will be tough to beat, but I'm trying. I think, did that no win the IWC event in Kentucky? It was like, I got a 98 score or something. I'm sure I read that. I always take those events with a pinch of salt, because we know how some of it goes down, but still unbelievable. I know. I value having an audience, Alan. I don't think anybody would want to see that. Well, and I was spoilt for choice at the Independent Spirits Festival. The Kittenhead's Highland Park 32-year-old's an absolute banger. Yeah, the Independent Spirits Festival seems to be a lot of people's highlight of the year that went. I would love to go. But it couldn't work out at the time. And then I was looking at the one in Newcastle in September, and timings are just, it's looking a bit too tight for that. Frank saying, went over to Ardnamurchan early June. Weather was horrible and roads was blocked with fallen trees. Had to clear out some other bikers. Yeah, it's a tough place to go. It's not the easiest. Anthony's on the Indri single malt, the cheap one, but for the price it was good. Yeah, it is. It's decent. It's really like, they were stocked in supermarkets, and then I don't know if they get pulled or that, or if they changed distributor. And Scottish Miss saying, yes, got the 10-year-old single cast Paul Noir and Moan 50 CL from the barrel. Well worth a visit. Haven't tried either yet. Did see the 10-year-old on SWA already. What? Oh, is it on? Is somebody punting it? How much is it going for? I'd love to know. I'd love to know that. Alan's going, mate, I'm so tempted. I'm just trying to work out logistics and stuff. It's really tough with a little one, and I've been really fortunate that my wife hadn't went back to work as of yet, but I think that's changing, so we'll need to see. Chris, welcome in, mate. Just booked a Highlander Inn in Craigellachie on your recommendation for my birthday in December. Any particular dram I should try while I'm there? Superb deal on there for the Whisky Infused. Honestly, the staff are great. There, Chris. And they'll steer you in any direction you need to go. There is one I've got for the Patreons I was talking to earlier this evening. I found the hard drive, thank God. Yeah, it wasn't. If my wife is watching, it wasn't your fault. I found it. It's my fault. You never moved it. It was my fault. Some humble pie there. I've got video of what we had there. There's a fantastic Highlander Inn exclusive blend. It's like 40 odd years. That's great. But honestly, they just have such a good selection of stuff, and the stock's rotating all the time. because it's getting drank. You just, honestly, I can't even recommend anything to you, because you'll just go with what you fancy. They've got so much stuff, and with that deal, use that money back to buy a couple of quality drams at the start of your evening that you just wouldn't normally spend the money on. That's what my recommendation would be. I'll also say that when I was there, they had a new chef start, and the food was phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. So you're in for an absolute treat. And on that, it's 120 quid on the last view for that Paul Noir, and the RRP was 95 quid. So it's making a wee bit. And James is saying, if anyone's looking for an excuse to visit the west coast of Canada, the annual Victoria Whisky Festival in January is a cracking event. Oh, I'd love to go. Oh, I could. That's one of the ones that if I could figure it out, I could get the family involved, because my wife's desperate to go to Canada, especially over there as well. Because you're saying, I didn't know it, but Googling confirms the IWC Awards, single cask, of course, and frustratingly it doesn't look like they identified the cask that won. Oh, why would they? That's what I mean. It's just, if they don't do something like that, it's a wee bit, not suspect, but... Rob just poured the last dram of an independent bottle 9-year-old Kalila. Great. Found a few Kalilas up there that I thought I didn't even realise I had loads of. A couple of North Star ones. Alan saying, dram of the year was 34-year-old Mannockmore from Claxton's at the Indie Spirit Festival. Unfortunately, could not afford the bottle. Yeah. What was it going for, Alan? Scottish Mist. I'm a sucker for the Ardnamurchan single cask packaging. Well, on that note, you can't see them. When I'd first did these shelves, it was just all, you could just see loads of Ardnamurchans for the exact same reason, but I sorted it out a wee bit. For anybody that's joined a wee bit late, these are just some of the highlight drams from the year so far for me, that I'm putting up, and that we can have a wee talk through a couple of them. You'll see that one of them is one of the mystery malts that I've been really enjoying. The beauty of those bottles, the absolute beauty of the mystery malt bottles, is they're so drinkable at that proof. And if you've got something that tickles your palate, tickles your fancy, you can just indulge so well with them, like, and not have to overthink it too much. Does anybody know when this year's Miko Tour Turbo's been released? I've just killed my 2024 bottle and I'm suffering withdrawal symptoms. They've just released, James, 2 casks. Single cask Miko Tours. One's a Distillery exclusive and one is, I think, available online. But I'd overheard them talk about it in the shop when I was there. And I didn't realise I knew what they were talking about, but didn't quite put 2 and 2 together. They were talking about how there was a cask through there, a Miko Tour cask. I just didn't put it together. And when I saw it announced, I was like, that's what it was. That's what they were talking about. And Mannockmore was about 250. Yeah, that's for me as well, mate. It's too much for a drinker. It's too much. And even then, when I say a drinker, I mean, like, there's occasions where you can push yourself to buy a special bottle that's going to sit in your shelf for years, and then eventually you'll open it and do that, but mad. Right, bit of housekeeping, guys. As always, I like to give a wee shout out to the Patreon guys that support me and help me out. It means the world. It helps me do stuff that ordinarily I wouldn't be able to do. There was a new sign up today. Someone signed up about 20 minutes before the stream. Elliot, so if you're watching live or you're watching the catch up, I never had time to update this graphic, but you will be added in. How do they support me? Well, all the money that kind of goes from that gets reinvested back into the channel. I've got myself a new screen for the channel and for doing this stuff. I was able to buy the mystery malt that's behind me with the guys' help, and was able to do just other little bits and pieces that is all counted for through the Patreon. So it just makes life a little bit easier to make videos and justify things. So if you would like to sign up, it's patreon.com/drinkswhiskey. We have some chats on there. I do exclusive videos and posts and that. They get the kind of inside track on that, and it's a great wee community. A lot of the guys in here are on the Patreon, and you see a lot of the same names in the chat and stuff. So as always, huge thank you to everybody that gets involved in it, and your support means the world. But do not feel obligated to sign up for that. It just helps me keep making the content, and there will always be the content on YouTube. Also, as Alan the Whiskey Friend always reminds me, please guys, if you can, hit the like on the thing. It does things for the algorithm. I don't know what it does, but it helps massively, and it helps people find it, like when on catch up and stuff like that. And I always get a really good amount of catch up views for what I deem a live stream's quite difficult to jump into, but we've managed to create such a good little community in here that people enjoy the conversations and follow in the chat on catch up and that as well. Scotsman's picked up the first whiskey to come from the Borders Distillery. It's a blend of 65% grain and 35% rye at 40% ABV. For it worth a punt at 35 quid. Aye, but you're supporting them as well. You're absolutely supporting them, and I think that's part of it. I think sometimes we can be a bit snobby, myself included, and be like, oh, I don't want that, whatever. All this helps. All these little things help them. And feedback as well. You might try and go, well, I'm not really into that. Or you might try and go, what are you doing there? I'm into that. Were there many bottles that you rediscovered during your remodeling in the Black Lodge? Yes, Lolander. Yes, there was quite a few. If I jump to this again, you might see a couple in the background. One of them on that top shelf, well, it's not the top shelf, but on that shelf above the bottles, Glendronach Cask Strength. Completely forgot I had that. I had no idea I had that. The bottle to the next to the Ardnamurchan, Merkin, the little, I think it's an otter. Is it an otter? It's the Blair Athol Thompson Brothers, which I bought from a guy I met online, as you do in the whiskey world. And it's a Blair Athol. Thompson Brothers came out in 2022, and I forgot I had it, and it's still not opened. So that'll be getting cracked sooner than later, because that's been sitting there for too long. The Ardnamurchan April's Fools, found that again, so I was delighted to dig that out. That's just the ones I can see from behind me. But like, all of these ones are open bottles, and they're like that's like 4 or 5 deep, and then the ones below are the same on that side. There's a lot of stuff that's kind of just I forgot I had, like the Kalila 11-year-old North Star. Forgot I had that completely. And then some like Belton ones that just like, there's a Ben Rinnes Adelphi. Forgot I had that. Didn't know it's still in the box, but I've had about that much out it. There's a couple of Adelphi blends. There is a bottle of Agitator blend. I bought a few bottles for like a blend video. Completely forgot I had them. So there's quite a few, and when you see the video, you'll see them all. There's quite a lot to get through, and that I'm looking forward to rediscovering and discovering as well. Regarding the Highlander Inn, we watched your video before booking, and we can't wait to go, and thanks for the recommendation. Chris, more than welcome. Believe it or not, that video has now been cancelled. Out of nowhere, a copyright claim came in for 2 of the tracks that were like instrumental ABBA covers, and has been blocked from the World Wide Web. So I am going to have to either get the video, edit it, remove the songs. I don't think I don't think I've got the video to edit. I don't think I have the file. So I might just have to, like, I don't know what to do with it. It's really annoying. It's really annoying because obviously that video's been up for over a year. Well, just under a year, and now it's been pulled. But I don't know if you're talking about that one or if you're talking about the Christmas one where I explained the deal. But the Highland, that bloody Speyside and Blackpool video is currently unavailable, which is really frustrating. That happened this week, so I've just not had the time to resolve it. I can't even challenge it because the tracks are saying are the tracks I used. But that's why now I just don't really. I just use, like, I pay for licensed music that I can use. Evening, Mac. Mac is in the UK. He's on UK time for once. So I'm hoping that he's got a dram in hand. I was asking, has anyone had the Signatory 100 proof Milton Duff? Had it in a tasting first night and really liked it. No, but I've heard it's great. I have heard that, Rob. That was one of the bottles I picked up in the Whiskey Exchange and then put back down. Bought it from a guy on, like, yeah, exactly. You know, like what's ever went wrong with meeting strangers off the internet? Thankfully, I met him. We handed it over at the Whisky show. And Kyle's a great guy. He's now the manager of the Buffalo Trace store in London. Oh, how can you forget that you have a bottle? Like, honestly, mate, it just. I found that I've got a Signatory, I think 19-year-old Macallan from a couple of years ago. Like, just unopened, just sat. There's too much. There's too much, and the problem was it was under loads of different places. So that's why the new system will be a lot better. Scottish Mist, go back and re-record it. Yes, mate, I was literally there like 3.5 weeks ago. So I would have re-recorded it. I would have done a more in-depth type of video if I'd known that one was going to just die a death. So you can imagine the angst. Anyone get a Thompson Mystery 2 Codger? That is what that mystery bottle is. I have 2 of them. I actually have a third that is with for me and some friends to open. I've also got the Mystery 1 for me and the same group to open. We're doing a bottle split, but until we can all get together, we can't open them. And Exeter Cathedral has the longest uninterrupted medieval stone vaulted ceiling in the world. Fantastic. We continue. What was I saying? I got the Tomor 17, the Kalila 11, and Nicknane 5. What was your favourite of those, Lowlander? What's the local accessible distilleries near Highland are in? Obviously, Craigellachie. You can't get into Craigellachie unless you're doing Spirit of Speyside, sadly. Glenallachie is 5 minutes away. Aberlour is now opened. We never went in there, but that's 5 minutes away. Macallan's 5 minutes away. And for all the criticism that Macallan get, and you have to book, you can't just rock up to Macallan, but you book it in advance and it's easy enough. But they're only opened like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, which is really annoying. It's amazing inside, so definitely it's one to go for. Then you go the other direction towards Dufton. You've got Glenfiddich and Balvenie and stuff like that. So there are some about, but they are like 5-10 minutes in the car. There's definitely some drivers about that you could get, or you can get the bus. Glenmurray is like 15 minutes up the road on the bus. The bus stops right outside the Highlander, in between the Highlander and the Craigellachie Inn. So it is viable. You can get buses places up to a certain time. So if you're doing that, you can definitely get out and about and have a drink. I'm just thinking on the way as well, Glenallachie, and then a wee bit further down you've got Farclas, Glenfarclas. But they're the main ones, I would say, from the Highlander. Yep, PX beat me to it. Same list. Bit obvious, but I really like the Tormore 17. Nice. Yeah, I heard the Tormore was great. When I spoke with when I was up in Dornoch. So as I said, I've got the videos to edit, guys. Really looking forward to getting in the edit. Got the motivation to kind of the headspace to know how I'm going to do the videos. We've got a few coming up. We have obviously the road trip video, which might be 2 parts. I'm not sure. I might make that a long one. We've got the bottle collection video and the / bottle collection remodel video at this place. We have also, I was invited to a whiskey event, a wee PR event. So I went to that, and that was with Distillery. So Distillery are doing like this barrel series. They have free whiskies they really kind of showcased. One of which was the Busker Irish whiskey in different styles they had. And then the one that really kind of got my attention was the Sagamore Rye. I really enjoyed that. So I got a wee video to put together. It won't be the longest video, but just a wee overview of what I thought. I'm saying if people are offering me the opportunities to go to these things, I'm trying to say yes to them, even if it's stuff that normally I wouldn't really care about, because it's an opportunity to try stuff out my comfort zone that I would maybe not buy myself. So it's definitely kind of worth me going, and then I can feed back to you guys what I actually think about them. Mike got 4 sent to Tokyo, cracked one, nicknamed 5-year-old. Tony's in. See you, Tony. Glengarrett and Rough isn't too far away from Highlander Inn either. Yep, Station Hotel, a good stop for dinner in Drams. Yep. Enjoy that lot. Solid pick by the brothers. I haven't tried enough liquid from there to benchmark it though. What I will say is, to that point, Mick, talking to my brain. Talking to Phil Thompson up there, and he was kind of telling me about what like they see happening, the success of the mystery malt and the feedback they've had from people, and they've had distilleries reach out to them, which is fantastic. People are now seeing the value of this whole kind of program of shifting bottles pretty much at a decent price, and people really enjoying it in stores. Seeing sales upturns, but also bringing in new people because the bottle's so distinguished and kind of stands out, that they're now thinking about saying to the distilleries, look, we won't pick. You send us your pick. If you want to do it, send us a barrel, you pick it, and then it's on you. So that if it's no up to scratch, it's no up to scratch, and you'll hear about it. Which I think is a fair way of doing it, because there's only so much, like they're doing the favour buying the bottle and whatever, but he was also saying they're not buying it at like a super cheap rate. So they're not saying to people like, right, we'll do this if you give us a cask for next to nothing. They're saying no, we'll pay a fair market rate for it, but it needs to be your pick. You pick it, and then if it's no good enough, then shame on you type vibe. So I think that's an interesting approach to it moving forward. But they've got a batch 3 coming out, which is going to overseas. And then it's intriguing to see what they're doing with batch 4, because I saw that the North Highland malt batch 3 that's came out is Glenord, Clynelish, and some heavily peated Dalmore. So looking forward to trying that. I'm going to pick up a bottle of that. It's what, 35 quid, 40 quid. And then they've got a 17-year-old coming out at like 70 quid, I think it said, or 65 quid. It was teased on their Instagram. So, like, they're doing the right stuff. They're making the right moves. Coach is saying he's further, but I'm working on figuring out a stop at Glengarry and Glendronach on my trip to the Highlander. Yeah, are you going to... Well, could you... Are you coming from Aberdeen? If you're coming from Aberdeen to the Highlander, then that's you can manage that, because you go through Old Meldrum. Just go via Inverurie. Sagamore Rye is good. Yeah, I had the cast strength and the double barrel, I think it was, and the standard, and they were all really, really good. Really good. So I'm definitely going to try and pick some of that up. I was going to suggest cycling, but a lot of distilleries are getting cagey about tasting. Tomatin wouldn't let me do an official paid tasting, but did offer some very slightly smaller samples free of charge. Yeah, Tomatin, like, I walked in and they were like, if you're driving, you can't even get a sniff. And I said, I'm driving, but it's for my friend. So he had some tastings, which is great. But in Scotland, there's zero tolerance on drink driving. I don't know how it applies to cycling. So that it is, that people are very... and they'll give you some away. Start a spreadsheet and research. Yeah, mate, like, as I said, it depends where you're coming from and what way you're coming in to get to the Highlander, because it's equidistant as well. If you're flying in, don't think you're flying in, but from Inverness and Aberdeen Airport, it's quite funny. It's bang, it's the exact same time from both places. It's like 1 hour, bang on. And then your route to it. We looked, we were going to come along the coast and down, and then I thought, no, we'll come the nice scenic route through. But part of me kind of wishes we'd went that way, because I've never been up there and down. But there's tons of distilleries, and you've also got you've got Ben Riach there. It's got a great bar, and on that way, coming from what's the word I'm looking for? Oh, it'll come back to me. The town just north of Craigellachie. Kicking myself for not getting into Donnock from a recent return drive from Orkney. Yeah, like, Donnock was unbelievable. Donnock was unbelievable. I'm so glad I went. I've never been to that part of the world, Sutherland, before. It definitely made me want to do the NC 500, the drive, because that's only a snapshot of it, and it was stunning. And there's loads of there's great distilleries there. You get Balblair, Glenmorangie, you get Donnock, just Clynelish is up the road. Like, there's loads of amazing liquid up there. Or Lowlander, you never know. I don't know if it's a case of maybe they're worried about, like, them getting hit by cars or trucks, because there's a lot of trucks. Right, I'm going to pour myself another dram. We're going to go to this while I get up, and we'll decide which dram. Let's go for the... Yeah, we're going to go for the mystery. Go for the mystery. don't think you could see what that was, but it is the Klein Leash is the one I got. The Klein Leash, and it's fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. I think they call it reckless cycling. Yeah, I think that's it. Doing wheelies up and down. Oh, that'll be one. Aye, fit it out. Last year everybody swarmed on the Springbank one because it was the Springbank 18, 100% bourbon. Which, speaking of which, Lowlander, you were saying any bottles I found? I found the Springbank 18, 100% bourbon from last year. So aye, that was sitting there as well. And Frank saying, drinks whiskey. If you're coming from Inverness, you have Ben Romack, Forres, yeah, Elgin, that's what I was trying to remember. Couldn't remember Elgin for the life of me. Glen Murray, Aberdeen, you can try Cabridge when they're open, not sure when. Let's see, I'm just checking I've not missed anything in the chat. Why does 50% bourbon taste weaker than 50% whiskey? No, I know what you mean. It could just be because of the nature of the bourbon and the mash. And how it's distilled, I suppose. Could be that. But it depends on the bourbon. What bourbon is it you're having, Codger? It's just, this Klein Leash is, it's just good Klein, it's just nice Klein Leash. It's nice, it's clean, it's got everything that you want from a Klein Leash. There's not really a huge amount to say about it, if that makes sense. It's just a really nice example of a good Klein Leash. It's young, it's not super old. It's still got the texture that you would expect, and it just drinks really easy without having to like worry about it, which is what you're after. I'm only saying, how the heck can you forget that you own a bottle of Longrow 18? No, not Longrow 18, Springbank 18. Springbank 18, the 100% bourbon one, because it wasn't next to the normal Springbank bottles, and it was in amongst all other bottles, and so I just was digging through and I was like, oh, that's purple. That's a purple one. So aye, that's what happened there. Alan's saying last few Klein Leash I had were disappointing, not the same waxiness I remember. Yeah, from like, are you talking about the OB Klein Leash or just in general? And that's exactly what Scotch Misters just came in and said as well. He loves the waxiness of Klein Leash, just wish Diageo wouldn't neuter it so much. I've got on the shelf, I'm just trying to see if you'll be able to, I don't think you'll see it if I switch to the other camera. I might be able to move it. Let me try something here. This could go terrible, right? Let me see. Aye, there we go. Like, oh, aye, it went terrible. There you go. You can see some other bottles. Look at this technology, eh? The future. There, I've got that Klein Leash there. If I move it over a wee bit more. Look at this. Wow. The Klein Leash that I got from, that was an Amazon offer, the special release, and that's just 100% ex-bourbon cask, and it's lovely. It's lovely, but it was 50 quid, which is amazing, but 150 quid it is not at all. And you'll be able to see, look, you can actually see some of these bottles that are on this shelf at the moment. when we're talking about like ones that have been lost or forgotten about, that Carnmore, had no idea I had that. It's never been opened. I think it's a Glenrothes. What else we've got? Yeah, you can see, and then you can see a bit more in the bourbon cabinet as well. And then up the top, so the reason for these bottles up the top isn't because they're display bottles of that, it's literally because they fit up there, and the shelf, I got these shelves cut today because the wood shelving that came with it was too thin for the bottles, and so it was kind of bowed a little bit, and so I just put as many bottles up there as possible to press it down, and I'll leave it up there for a while. But aye, there we go. Peter saying, put myself a Linkwood SMWS, also located in Elgin but not open. That said, located in Elgin and open is the G&M shop. Some great whiskies for sale. Yeah, gutted I never got up there, sadly. Let's see what's going on. Excuse me a second. Security camera's gone off, so I'm just going to check in and make sure nothing mad's happening. Right, back to the chat. Miss that, just in general. Haha, we can now cut live to Dramcam. Yeah, that's what I mean. The setup's slowly getting there. We're getting there. Cut back to David with his tap off. This view would make good wallpaper. I feel like a whiskey voyeur. And then to Codger's point about the bourbon, it's bolder, bottled and bond, quite pleasant, but just a bit weak. I've never had bolder. There's some 50s though that sometimes punch a wee bit heftier from that. Talking to Diageo, did anybody else get any of the special release on a deal? I got the Oban 2023 and Rose Isle 24 for about 50% off. Yeah, I think a lot of people did. I think a lot of people indulged. Trying to get Peter saying Diageo, so nope. And then Bolander's saying only Drams. I wasn't like, I think at the price point that these sale bottles are at is the price point I think maybe they should release them at, because they can afford to sell them on sale because they're just sitting on shelves, and maybe they would shift some more stock, because you're getting cask strength natural bottlings of whiskey that we all enjoy from independent bottlers, and they're able to walk through the stores and just pick the best ones. So why not just do a bit more of that and try and get back to roots? Obviously it's all change over there, so we don't know what's going to happen, but it's a great clean leash. I really enjoy it. I just think it was one of the more common bottles of batch 2, and I think a lot of people will be happy with that. I've been intrigued to know, like, some people that maybe wouldn't like it might think it's too young or it's not delivering what they need, but I'm no one for legs in a glass of that, but it's clinging to the glass, and that proof. Remind me, Rob, where are you again? Because they've been discounting a lot of stuff worldwide. I've seen different ones. Depends on where you are. It's been depending on what the region of what you've been getting. So the special releases here have been discounted. I know in Europe they've been discounted a fair bit. But then I know in the States, the Lagavulin Caribbean cask or whatever one it was, the latest Offerman one, got cut massively as well. Well, I'm saying he got the Oban 12 and Talisker 11 for 50 quid. Managed to get the Oban 12 for 42 with 10% off and 5% cash. Exactly. And at these prices, I think they're absolutely worth taking a punt, and you try them. And most of the time they're alright, to be fine. It's when it's like 110, 140 quid for these. There's no way. US Midwest. Yeah, but Rob, was it you that maybe said to me about the Lagavulin? Or was it somebody else being discounted in that? There is the Diageo stock being discounted. So I just don't know if because you're in the US it's not so much. I was going to do a news segment, but the problem is there's no much news. But one of the things that happened this week was Trump was in Scotland golfing and doing his thing, and he met with the Scottish First Minister, who lobbied him, and obviously he was with Keir Starmer, the British Prime Minister, to try and get the 10% tariff removed on Scotch whisky. Full stop. So there's no tariff on whisky. Trump played ball and said, oh yeah, we'll think about it. But apparently in the back channels, there's conversations going on to try and help. I wonder if it'll be a bit reciprocal and it'll go back and forward. Well, maybe there'll be like zero tariff on bourbon. I don't know if there is a tariff on bourbon at the moment, but I can't imagine we would get something for nothing off them, to be honest. Chat. And Scottish Mist just done a slightly heavy-handed pour of an SNWS Ardnamurchan. Is it peated or unpeated? What's the makeup of it? Rob saying, I'm sorry he was over there. He's a Landover over here, isn't he? Really? 100% proof signatory Ben Rinnes and Mortlach just dropping on UK sites now. I saw that the Mortlach was coming out and I quite fancied that because I've not had a Mortlach in ages. And then the Ben Rinnes I've still got. If we cut back over here, I have my Bang Centre. Let's see, can we zoom? Oh, zoom in. That's as far as I can zoom in. I've still got the Ben Rinnes from last year, which was like my second favourite dram of the year. Would have won dram of the year if it came out a wee bit earlier. PX saying Mortlach's at Tyndrum and Abbey. Have a wee look quickly. I know I shouldn't be doing this on the stream, but let's do it. I finally got into Tyndrum whiskey as well. I'd never been, so that's coming up in the video. A wee look. Signatory. Oh, they've got a couple. Oh no, the one. £49, 100 proof, 2013. They've got a really interesting bottling coming for their birthday celebrations of the Green Welly Stop thing. I think he said, is it a 40 or a 50-year-old? They're looking at a cask. Second for Oloroso sherry, but unchilled filled. Colour on it as well, though. It's strange for a sherry butt. Ben Rinnes is going fast elsewhere, 8-year-old. And then Scottish saying for his Ardnamurchan, 8-year-old unpeated, first fill bourbon, 63%. Yeah, the first fill, the bourbon casks are great. Bit of water in it as well. And the Ben Rinnes is at Whisky Exchange and Master of Malt. Alan, I've just saw your chat come in there. My friend bought the Signatory 100 Glen Lossy. Anybody tried it? No, but I've heard good things about that one as well. There's very few that I've heard people not enjoy. There was one, might have been the Blair Athol, which is what I discovered. I discovered a Blair Athol 100 from the first releases of those. When I was digging bottles out, and apparently it's really sulphury. So I've not opened it at all. And then somebody sent me, I'm sure somebody sent me a link to one at auction and it's going for silly money. And I was like, right, fine, that might just go to auction and I can buy a couple of something else. I'd rather that than just open one for the sake of it. I've already made the mistake with the Macallan Night on Earth, opening it to make a video and then absolutely instantly regretting it when I tasted it. So you can see that Klein Leash, it's just a sipper, man. It's just really good. So good. So good. Amateur Casual saying, it's okay, I misjudged my pour of Woodrow's Bunnahabhain 10 about 30 minutes ago and bit my lip in shame. Finished it, mind you. I've just saw that off in record time. Too easy, but not bad. 2 drams in, it's 11:10. We're doing okay. Right, let's bring this back down, tilt this down, and we will get back to the drams of this evening. So, we had that. Now, I'll leave it to you guys. What should I have next? Should I see off the Springbank? Should I go Loch Lomond? Should I go the Teeth Mill, which is a Deanston, the Thompson Brothers Deanston? I could go there, which is another waxy gem. But I will leave it in your hands. So it is currently, because there's a slight delay on the stream, it's 23:08. So I'll give it to 23:10, and then we'll tally the votes, and I'll know what to pour next. Scottish Mist, I gifted the Signatory 100 Space Idem to my sister-in-law in London. It was enjoyed at a Burns supper with not much left, so top marks. Fantastic. Yeah, I gifted one to, that was my old, my CEO left, and my leaving present to him was one of those bottles. Not a big Scottish drinker, but doesn't mind one. And then also when I was like, oh, it's 57.1, he was like, what the hell? Because the majority of the world don't understand the proof. Lowlander, 5% top catch pack with Tintern whiskey. I must resist buying more whiskey. Lowlander, no, never. Just do it. I counted my bottles, and it was with some shame, the final number I came to, but then it made me go, I need some more, because it wasn't a clean number. And I think that's the problem. Yeah, so big Christmas list this year of just like, people buy me bottles, please. Votes coming in. We've got Loch Lomond, Deanston, Loch Lomond. Loch Lomond's in the running, guys. So anyone else want to comment on the chat, let me know. Another minute or two to go. Then Alan's saying, just noticed the Woodrow's 1978 and be 46-year-old is 255 quid. And that's his birth year. See, this is what happens. I did well. I was in Dornoch and they had the 1984 on the shelf. That's my birth year. And I resisted. I absolutely resisted. Do I regret resisting? Absolutely. Absolutely. I hate the fact I resisted. They had the circumstance on the shelf. I resisted buying that as well. I was very restrained in my whiskey buying, for good or for bad. And then the entire time since, I've just been like, I should have got that 1984. I should have got it. But I had the Living Souls 1984, but I had it at Glasgow, and it was alright, but again, it was so delicate and light, and I must have been about 8 or 9 drams in by the time I got to it. The palate's just not there. Lowlander, pricey, but I'm sure it'll taste nice. I don't think I've had any bad drams from Woodrow's. No, I'd agree with that, Lowlander. I think there's certain places that are just like they understand that you cultivate drinkers and you cultivate buyers by just being consistent. And if something's not good enough to put out, don't put it out. Scottish Mist, I think the last count it was around 180 bottles. At least my wife thinks I have a shopping addiction and I'm not an alcoholic. That's what, like, my wife's friends have said, oh, like they've come in, family and that, and be like, God, has David got a problem? And my answer is, if I had a problem, I would not have all these. And they certainly would not be full. Right. It's 11:12. Based on the vote that a few of you said, I am going to go for the... Let's hide that last comment there. We're going for the Loch Lomond, as you just saw. Lowlander saying, next time you go to the Highlands, perhaps it might be better for you logistically to fly to Inverness and rent a car from the airport. That's the plan, Lowlander. The only reason we never did it, that's what I would have done, and you'll see in the video, it was because my friend had never been to Edinburgh and he wanted to see Edinburgh, and it was trying to find a way of logistically getting Edinburgh in, so we just decided, look, fly London to Glasgow, fly London to Edinburgh, then to hire the car from Edinburgh airport. It was like £440 for 2 days, but from Glasgow it was 170. So I was like, right, we'll do half day in Edinburgh and then we'll get the train to Glasgow and get the car and then straight up via Aviemore and whatever. So it was fine because I've done that drive before, but in future that's the plan, especially with my daughter and my wife and stuff. We love going up that part of the world, and we just thought, we've got the dog though, so that's the other issue, but if we go up without the dog, then we'll just fly up, hire a car and do it. And I've said it to so many people, I'm like, even if you don't want to go up there and you just want to go to Aviemore or somewhere, just fly to Inverness from London. It's easy enough. Get a car and then just drive around that area. Cuts off a good, from here it would cut off a good 11-12 hours of driving. Easy. Amateur Casual saying, I have 25 bottles in my collection. My other half's convinced I'm ill and not with a shopping addiction. You're saying that's my exact answer to the problem question. Yep. My alcohol problem is that I drink way slower than I purchase. Yeah, we're on the same boat. I think it's the healthiest way of being it. Like, we all kind of give ourselves support in buying. We all kind of enable that. But from a be responsible drinking point of view, we're doing this. We're not legitimising just getting messy with whiskey. You can't get, I don't think, I always say to people, you can't mess around with whiskey because it just batters you. It slaps you about if you try and mistreat it, and you'll know that you've been on a whiskey binge. It's just not one of those drinks that you can do that with. People do, and they get battered about by it. I have no intention of that. I'm one of those awkward buggers that people don't know what to give, so they latch onto whiskey. It's a burden on their shoulder. Look, I'm the opposite. People know I'm into whiskey, and so they don't buy me whiskey because they're terrified they're going to get me something that I don't want. And I'm like, I would love you to buy me supermarket whiskey. I would absolutely love that. Like, there's so many like whiskies that I want at the moment. From that, like I was saying, just whiskies that I just don't buy myself at all. Like Glenmurray's from the supermarkets, or Glenmorangie, or Ardbeg, or Loch Lomond Grain, or anything like that. Like, there's plenty there. There's other ones that I'd be like, oh, but again, I'd be like, oh, but I've not tried them in years, so it's worth kind of dipping in. But yeah, nice burden to have. Where was chat jumped there? Apologies, guys. I just need to go back to there. Alan saying I had the Loch Lomond Distillery Edition 6 earlier. Rob's now moving on to Loch Lomond. Well, and if you did have a problem, you'd be sounding like Father Jack from Father Ted, or the 13th student of Winterfell from the Fast Show. No, exactly. I would be. People think I sound like that down here anyway. They think I'm like Father Jack just by being the Glaswegian in London. Codger, night all. I've had a busy day watching cricket and I'm feeling a bit tired. Take care, all Slinger. Codger, all the best. See you soon. If you get around Inverness, you can do the Caledonia Canal by boat over a full week and get to Ben Nevis. Yeah, it'd be great as well. We drove down. We drove via went a long way down because we wanted to do Loch Ness. So we drove from the Highlander pretty much to Fort Augustus and then through Glencoe. And again, I'd never even been there either. Unbelievable place. And Peter saying, same problem here. Last year when I was in Scotland, I picked up the 7 bottles I bought on auction, thinking it was fitting the bike. I had to apply university grade tertius that were 14. Oh God. James is in. James, good to have you in, mate. Hope you're keeping well. What's in the glass? Well, saying he likes I like the Spearhead single grain from Loch Lomond. It's a bargain for the price. I think the Loch Lomond single grain stuff, Loch Lomond's such a I think we're all in agreement. Like, what it's putting out at the moment is unbelievable. Just keeps doing stuff. And that Spearhead, I've seen good stuff. $74 to $120. Aye, God. I think we're seeing that in general, though. A lot of these brands they're making the jump. Diageo did it, and they did it hard and fast and with very little justification. And then we're seeing all these sales. But Glen Scotia did it when they won the awards. Loch Lomond have done it. I think they've all had to because of the cost of production has increased, and supply chains and stuff have tightened, and glass manufacturers and cork manufacturers and all that kind of stuff. But I think if they just communicate what they're doing, because the liquid we know has been laid down for a long time, that they communicate, right, the reason this has moved from this price to that price is because of this and that, I think anyone would have a problem with it. Palate was not ready for that jump. It's a great dram though. I'm going to put a wee bit of water in. Ralphie would kill me because I've done more than his singular teaspoon. Yeah, a wee bit of water just opens that up for me. I think because I've started at low proof and I've just kind of maintained low proof tonight, my palate's after that. Now, what's this, James? Indulging Those in a Series 26 North Star blended Scotch. It's 26-year-old Edrington Grain Combo, 44% under 60 quid. Oh, fantastic. Try to think what one that. They've just released. Is that the one they've just released? That's came out? And if so, James, how are you finding it? I've noticed that North Star have released a few this week, and it's like Isla and Spacey and Highland. They've not called them out, but I think the Isla's a Kalila. I think it's pretty easy to know. In news that you may have seen or may not have seen online, friend of the channel, friend of the live stream, Mr. Ecclegate himself, Marcos, is no longer at North Star. He's no longer working at North Star as of this week, so I can't even ask him about some of these blends that I was quite intrigued about. I'm sure I could ask him, but a 10-year-old cask strength Paul Ardnamurchan is now 150 in auction with still a week to go. I thought secondary market was slowing down. Ardnamurchan, though, it's collectible. Like, a lot of people love Ardnamurchan, myself included. And it's a distillery, it's a proper distillery exclusive, and the distillery's a ball ache to get to. And the auctions have been slowing down, but I went on, was it Whiskey Hammer? A couple of weeks ago, I got an email, new auction live, and I just went on and I thought, oh, bugger it, I'll just put some bids in. And nothing outrageous. There was Roy's Ardnamurchan, the Aquaviti one, the Barflies one came up and stuff. I thought I'll put 50 quid on that. I put 6, blah, 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 blah. I won nothing. And even that was like, that was me being conservative. I wasn't going mental, but I was also bidding stuff, and I thought, nah, it's no more than this on certain bottles. And they all went. So it's a weird market at the moment. I think we all think we're going to get bargains, and in turn we're driving the market up a wee bit. But it's nowhere near the level of bottles going in to auction that there was either. Because you get emails. Don't know if you guys have had emails being like, there was one that somebody sent me that they were like, have you seen this? And it's like they're paying you to send bottles in. Like, they will give you money. Like, an auction house will give you money to, like, on top of selling your bottles. So we know that it's not great. Had the 10-year mix of distilleries, and yeah, this week's. And Alan said, do you like to see where Marco's off to? I don't think there's anything mysterious about it. I don't know what's happened. I genuinely don't know what's happened. I just know that he's no longer at North Star. And he's keep busy. He's moving house. Moved in a new place with his girlfriend, and he's just kind of working away on that at the moment. So I don't know if he's off somewhere coming up or whatever. I never asked him. I just checked in, made sure he was alright, and he's fine. And I'm sure that knowing Marcos, you'll know as soon as he's got something to announce, it'll be on his Insta and it'll be on his socials. But he won't be. I don't think he'll be at the game for long. Let me put it that way. Like, we've all been fortunate to be part of tastings and stuff with him, and he's very good at what he does. Well, I'm saying I've noticed auction prices starting to ramp up in the last few months. There are a lot fewer bottles on auction sites compared to a few years ago. Yeah. And like James, he will do okay, I'm sure, to Marcos. Yep. Cheers. Yeah, I think, Alan, some of the auction sites are I think it just depends. Some of the auction sites are a bit weird. When you see like people choosing to sell certain bottles at certain auction houses, and you're just like, why would you send it there? Like, a bit odd. And then it goes for pennies, and you're just like, yeah, because nobody's going here. Well, I'm saying, yeah, just Just Whisky sometimes a decent place to pick up bargains. Yeah, and so is Whisky.auction, which is owned by the Whisky Exchange. They have, like, they also do like a lot of memorabilia and stuff as well, which is always fun to look through. And saying Just Whisky were offering 2.5% cash back. See, that's what I mean. Giving you money. Like, weird times. I'm just casual saying, I mentioned the Patreon that I picked up a late 80s Johnny Walker, red on an auction. They're great for stuff like that. That's it. I've got the, that was some other things I dug out. I've got an old Johnny Walker black. I've got an old Johnny Walker green. And it was part of the blends idea that I had. I want to just compare them against new, but I want to do them blind. So maybe get my wife or get a friend or somebody over to pour them for me. And then just as that, Alan's just literally said, older Johnny Walkers are creeping up in price. Too many YouTubers talking about them. Lol. You know what? Let me dig out the two I've got, and you guys can tell me if they're older or not. And we're back. So, this old one, it's not got any, it's 75 CL, right? So I think it's for foreign markets. Distilled, it just doesn't really. Kilmarnock, bottled in Scotland, 1820, and then that's it. That's all. There's no identifying markers of that in there, maybe, but. And then the green label, which has a walking man. The black label doesn't have a walking man on it. And it is a wee bit more. Still says Kilmarnock on it, but it has units on the back. So it'd be quite intriguing to know what exactly is going on with these two. But this has got to be older than that, surely. Because look. That's 70 CL and that's 75. That's embossed. This is... What are we saying? When do we think? There's a barcode on the back though. So is it that old if it's got a barcode? When did barcodes become a thing on the back? The comparison to old Johnny Walker Red and News night and day. The old bottle I have is so killingly heavy, whereas I always think modern Johnny Walker tastes like a ginger cake drizzled with hand sanitizer. I normally just have it with soda on a flight. That's probably like sparkling water on a flight. If there's nothing else to have, I can't like. And people always go, "Oh, I'm like, just give me the cheapest with soda. I don't mind." Just Whisky had some random stuff in their auctions from time to time in December. A spirit still from a distillery went for 5 figures. I also saw Macallan brandy Divis Rest for 25 quid. And then No Walking Man. Is there a man with a bottle lying on the floor? There's nothing on it at all. Like, it feels old. I've not watched it yet, Alan. I've got that, and I've got the gamified one to watch from Roy. I've got 2 to catch up on. The old photos from 1900s, only recognisable bottles with Johnny Walker. Branding has hardly changed in over 100 years. It's a great brand. Johnny Walker's great, man. There's a great documentary on Amazon, the Man Who Walked the World, and the book came out and stuff, and it's so funny how it's like, yeah, you've got the Edinburgh kind of Willy Wonka style Johnny Walker experience, but the majority, they did a survey and it was like the majority of people didn't know Johnny Walker was from Scotland. I find that quite strange, but barcode started in the early 80s for UK whiskies, what I read on Google. You can get those. Let me see. I'll get it. You can get barcode scanners, can't you? Do you think it'll I can't imagine it'll scan now. Let's see. We'll see if it scans. Can't imagine it will, but worth a shot. Black label could be from the 80s, 90s. Yeah. And then Scottish Mist. I picked up a litre of McKinley's for 25 quid at the last SWA as a gift for my dad. Apparently it was the brand Shackleton used to drink, but this was probably 90 or noughties, and not sure if it was just a name. Right, let's see. Let's see if it scans. What does that even mean? I scanned it and nothing, like, all these apps are just scamming apps. Let me do this. Shall we use AI? Let's use AI and see if AI knows what it is. Put it in and we'll see what is this and when is it from. Well, they're saying, can you not use Google Lens to search for the bottle? Yeah, it's probably better. AI doesn't know. Let's try Google Lens. Try and narrow down. The problem is it's because it's Black Label. Everything just looks like Black Label. There's one there. Old Spirits and Liqueurs.com. Yeah, because it did come in a box. It did come in that box. It's going for 75 quid on here, but it doesn't say what it is. There we go. Is that the same? No, that's different. Hard to find whiskey, have it. Old bottling. Nah, there's nothing about when it's from. Which is quite odd. Because it's quite a... No. Oh well. We're saying 80s, 90s. Barcodes came out 80s. The barcode is still used by Johnny Walker, it said. Therefore, can it help age it? 75CL says it's for UK and EU market, so it's for an EU market. Take from that what we will. Alan saying that he's seen Johnny Walker confuses Irish and some bourbon. Yep. Well, Bruzel with the blue label, where they call it Irish whiskey. Tony saying also from his friend Google, there was a switch over from 75CL to 70 in 1990. That little lemon with a little bit of water, delicious. Again, another one that just, I think that's where I'm at the moment with proof. I just want something really easy, especially when I'm doing this. I want to enjoy it. I want to get a bit of bang for the buck, but at the same time, I can't sit here nose in a glass and just kind of being lost in whiskey while I'm trying to have a conversation with you guys. The EU was formed in 1983 after the Maastricht Treaty, so perhaps it's from the 1990s. Yeah, I think that's okay. I think it's definitely a 90s bottle, but it seems a lot. It looks older than a 90s, because then you look at this, but then I forget 2000 was 25 years ago, which is disgusting. And this has got units on the back, so then in turn. And it's got the Walking Man embossed on that and that. The Art of Pure Malt. But it's an older bottle, it's not. Because they got rid of Pure Malt, didn't they? Let's see. Sorry, I need a guy. I need a guy in a keyboard, don't I? Right, when was it removed? So it was dropped 2017. I've got one here, and it was dropped before that. 2009, they got rid of it. And then you just get, instead of calling it vatted malt and pure malt, they just called it blended malt. So if that was 2009, that bottle was before 2009. So we're talking, like, we know that's now at least 16 years old. Let's see. See if we can age statement this one. Come up here. Let's get rid of that. Put that in. There we go. Whiskey Base has it. Yeah, it doesn't say what year. Oh well. But we know now the minimum it could be. This chat is a whiskey equivalent of Bellingcat, yeah, imagine. Wait till I start doing whiskey scammers, and it's just me with a voice changing machine as well. Maybe able to Google the bottle code and get some information, like the bottle code, as in there's a little code inside. You talking about that? Let me try. Last attempt. Nah, nothing. Peter saying, keep in mind 2009 was the latest change of the rules of SWA, so might have influenced the data on the pure vatted blend announcements as well. Yeah, so that if 2009 was the latest change, then that's what, that's 16 years ago. So we know it's at least 16 years old, and it's 15-year-old malt in the bottle. So it's like, it's old enough. They'll be buying a bottle now versus then. There's enough of a change. Danny, evening folks, just dropping in. A long day today driving from Germany to Scotland, just at Gretna Services, getting a much needed coffee. Danny, what a shift that is. Christ. Get yourself a coffee. Treat yourself, get dairy milk as well. Why not? If Greg's is open, to get yourself a steak bake. Unbelievable. Well, and he's on the prowl. Look at him, looking at bottles. No more bottles for me, but you just happen to have found the North Star Campbelltown Collection still at Woodwinters. Anybody's interested? I thought it was completely sold out. They've put it up. It came out on, where did I see it? I saw it somewhere for £32 as well. There's a few of them. I think they're just getting rid of the rest of the stock. It's all out. In Scottish Mist, it's whiskey. Just make up some story about how Johnny Walker himself gave it to a long dead relative after he pulled a stone from his horse's hoof on a stormy night. Keep the magic alive. When I do the video trying them, let's see what I come up with. We put a date and a time on it. Peter saying he has the Campbelltown North Star, have the bottle in the queue in the to be open cabinet. I'm check out. Right, I'm out. Look forward to listening back at work on Monday. Have a great weekend, everyone. Right, always a pleasure to have you in. Thanks as always for all your support. Hope you're doing well for the rest of the weekend. Have a good night. The to be open cabinet. Can I sell that one to my wife? That's what mine's is currently done in. That's opened, and then under there is to be opened. No, I understand the same. Get a Greg's pie in you. Some. What a shift. What a shift. Cash strength coffee required. Yeah, God, that and about 8 Red Bulls. Right, last pour for me of the evening. Again, I'll open it up to you guys. Danny, if you want to have the pleasure, seeing how that you're at Gretna and you must be bloody knackered, These are some of my highlight drams of the year so far, in terms of just stuff I've really enjoyed that kind of stands out a wee bit. Now, one of the ones that's not here is the Edinburgh Midgie. I really enjoyed that. Graham at Edinburgh sent me it, and I'm not saying it because he sent me it, but I really enjoyed it, and I'm going to pick up a bottle of it before within the next couple of months. But I don't have it. So we've had the Loch Lomond, we've had the Mystery Malt, which is a clean leash. Last one. Well, I say last one. I'm going to finish that Springbank anyway, regardless. But up to you. We'll just leave it on here, so in case Danny's in the Greg's queue and he's not seeing it. But Teeth Mill, Deanston, Springbank Local Barley, the 1770, which is the no nonsense whiskey, Vin's pick with Glasgow, the Pedro Jimenez cask peated. It's unbelievable. The 100 proof Longrow is great. I will know the injury, love that. Right, while we're waiting for a decision from Danny, I'm going to pour that Springbank. Right, Danny's came back to us, and he's saying, go for the Longrow 100 proof as I have a bottle unopened. Right, well, beforehand, we're seeing off that Springbank Local Barley, which was just probably my favourite local barley in years that I've had, personally. Everybody's palate's different, and of course, but for me, it was just an absolute dream. And there wasn't, obviously there's not a lot in it, but I'm getting so much malt. Mad how, like, with that much oxygen in the bottle. Chocolatey, like really malty, chocolatey. Little bit of farmer vegetable, like a tiny undercurrent of Kilhoman, that kind of farmy, peaty. It's just banging, man. It's so good. Absolutely sings in the glass. Absolutely sings. Anyway, back to the chat, guys. No here for a tasting from me. Alan saying the no nonsense whiskey is cracking. Yeah, it is. It's so good, that Glasgow bottle, and it's testament to how good Glasgow is now as well, because it's quite young, but it just delivers on so many levels. Scottish Mist, the latest Midgie. Where are we at? Did it come out? The latest Midgie was on the tasting I did, and it was really good and great value as well. Yeah, no, it's like, it's all, you should always take everything that anybody says with a massive pinch of salt when it's been gifted, and that's absolutely fine. Like, and especially there's a lot of people that don't even admit stuff's gifted. If it's gifted or it's given, you have to just kind of, okay, how honest are they going to be with it? So I was very conscious of saying how good and how much I enjoyed the Midgie, this year's one. Because I'm not saying it just because, oh, Graham sent me it and I need to say something nice. It was great. And the feedback from people since who have tried it kind of warrants that what I was saying was true. And one of my mates from work, me and him went round to Whisky Exchange, popped in, he's like, what should I get? And I was like, do you fancy? And he loves Killela and stuff, and I was like, you know what? Here, get that, the Midgie. And he got it, and he messaged me like 2 nights later. He's like, that's brilliant, I love that. And that's not his wheel, like that was not in the wheelhouse of what a Killela fanboy would have, but he really enjoyed it. Alan still never had a Springbank local barley. It was a big pour. I've just seen one big pour. It looks bigger than it was. I think the glass kind of deceives a wee bit, but yet in the bottle it didn't look like there was a lot left. I thought I was gonna get a wee smidge, but Alan, I can sort you out with a pour. I'm terrible at getting stuff out to people. I owe people a million and one things. Just always distracted by too many things, but definitely can get you a dram because I've got another bottle of that, and it'll be getting opened, so you can definitely have some of it. Bottle kill, absolutely. Like you kind of have to just do the upside down bottle kill, don't you? Like it's kind of rite of passage for any bottle once it's done. Scottish Miss is saying, I've told my wife that unopened bottles are an investment for her should I die suddenly. It appears to be a lie we are both comfortable with. Especially if in front of all your good bottles it's just like 7 bottles of Famous Grouse and Bells. To be fair, it's hard to get around here as well, Rob. I just get really fortunate. It's like a combination of my day job, I'm online all day, and my local whiskey shop. I got lucky and got one. So that's how I ended up with 2. Wasn't greedy of that, but also I just loved that. I loved it so much when I tried it. Saying there was no Springbank local barley in the bar when I visited in Feb. Yeah, it's strange, isn't it? Like you would think they would keep quite a fair bit back. Danny, what did you pick up? I'm sure that's probably already been asked, but what bottles did you pick up when you were out there? And he grabbed a Lefroy PX Cask 1 litre bottle for €65. Yes, great. And Lowlander's asking, what's the background music playing just now? Now, there's a delay, so it's one of 2 things. What's this one? Try and find that. It's either Journey Back or Library Waltz. That's and I get all my music from a website called Upbeat, UPP Beat. It's that subscription thing where it's all non-copy. Well, it's copyrighted, but it's licensed. So I can just play these songs in the background and not get done. But yeah, every stream I get tagged, monetization, and then I have to submit a thing against it, and then it gets cleared. Is it this one? Yeah, this one. This one's called Journey Back. I've started looking at for some of the videos that I'm planning. There's another website where you can actually license like big tracks, like real name ones. So I've been looking at that. God, guys, you can tell it's midnight or close to midnight. I've absolutely, without even thinking, too much chat. Saw that off. But we are on the countdown. Right, final one. Yeah, no, it's called Journey Back. Well, Journey and then Back, as in like the famous back, but with a wee hyphen above the E. Right. Danny's pick. The one thing we need to get better at is the transition for me moving from there to there. I don't think it's going to work. Need to figure out some way of having bottles within reaching distance so I don't have to stand up and move away every single time. Danny, treat yourself when you get home after that drive. Get your Longrow 100 open because you get so much better with time as well. But 3 bottles of Thompson Brothers Mystery Malt Release 2. I got the Tomor 17, yep, and Ian. And then James is saying, yep, that dram flew by. It really did. Really did. Would not be a problem if you had a head cam. Yeah, I know. Well, look, again, another addition that I do have. Got a little action cam, which was going to be used for that setup today, but I've been using it. I've got a mount. I've now got a mount up there as well, and I'm looking at how can I run a wire, and I can't. This is the beauty of these. I can run it into this, and I can have multicam setups, so I can move about. So I'm just looking at the mic setup. So there will be an equivalent, not of a head cam, but of another cam. I enjoy my tech. I love over-engineering things. Speaking of over-engineering, so the last video on the channel that I put up that's not a live stream was the one distillery challenge that Jeff Whisky kindly sent my way, and did my one over elaborate as hell, picked out the marking, and then called out Whisky Whereabouts and Alan the Whisky Friend. So their videos are both up. I've posted them on Instagram. The links. Go, if you've not already watched them, go show them some support, show them some love. They've both picked 2 distilleries that were definitely in the running when I was thinking about mine. But it's just quite a nice wee fun activity. It's a nice wee creative endeavour, a wee thinking challenge. So for you guys, what would be, before we finish up tonight, one distillery to rule them all? You can only have one distillery and that'll be you. What are you picking? I settled on Ardnamurchan, just based on a few factors. There was some, like, Springbank was an easy shout, but the reasons for mine are in the video. But what would you guys pick? Put a wee bit of water into it. Really brings the peat out massively. A little bit hotter. Probably needs to settle down a wee bit after the water, but it's just a good dram. It's good. Would I know it's Longrow? That's the question. I'm not sure. I think so. I think I would. Maybe. I was heading on Burniston Livestream direction. Scottish Mist. I recommended this a while ago. I don't know if you saw it, but have you watched Consulvania? That's from Rab Florence, one half of Burniston, and a couple other guys, and they're doing a great series where it's like they're reviewing the past, and it's like a recap show, and I think they're up to like 1991 or 1992. Look it up, Consulvania. And then just, you'll see them, and they're great. They're so good. Tony saying, Brute Laddie, like, Whiskey Routes, but considering Loch Lomond to be unique. Yeah, Loch Lomond's a great shout, to be fair. Alan saying, too many distilleries going through my head. Frank saying, told Jeff Whiskey that my pick should be Loch Lomond, as with their selection of stills they can make about everything. Yeah. Brute Laddie, Glen Scotia. Jinx Frank. Well, they're saying Glen Scotia or Ben Romack. Yep. But see, like, there's a lot of commonality that we're coming across here. You want a distillery that covers several bases, so Loch Lomond, Tomatin, Brute Laddie would be good shouts. I think Tomatin is a massive shout. I think people overlook Tomatin as a distillery so often. Like, well, I'm saying that Kubokin was my whiskey of the year last year, Kubokin 15, but I just think there's certain distilleries that just people forget, or they don't think, I don't know, I don't want to use the word trendy or anything like that. It's just no in vogue, they're just no there. They come in and out of fashion. I feel like Tomatin's kind of went out of fashion a wee bit, but the stuff's great. I don't understand. Danny saying Ben Nevis for my pick. And then definitely Brute Laddie with the 5 styles. So Danny, are you just happy with the Ben Nevis output so much that you would be just happy with that forever? Because what the other guys are saying is like Brute Laddie with the 5 styles of like PT'd and unPT'd and this and that and that. Derek's went for Craig Ellicky. Again, another great, just like, it's not an easy, I don't think, the beauty of it is it's not realistic. No one's going to force you to drink the same distillery forever and you're going to be stuck there, but it challenges on what appeals to you. So for Ardnamurchan, for me, it was a motive, but it was also, there's peated and unpeated, and I'm happy with both. The bourbon casks, the sherry casks and stuff that they do. And it's only going to get better. And it was Whiskey Whereabouts that said, it's quite intriguing that Jeff and I both picked young distilleries versus established ones, because they're more front of mind, and that is absolutely a case. So it's just thinking about it in that context, and you can go for like Glengyle, you can go Springbank, you can get your selection from them, whatever, but it just feels a bit easy. That's what Cujo's saying, it's boring. I just say Springbank for me. I know it's an easy pick, but with the quality and variety, even within range, if Springbank is disqualified, I'd likely go Ardnam. Well, it wouldn't be disqualified, mate. It's absolutely your choice. When you're saying Buna would be up there as well, yeah, of course it would. But I would need the full range of IBs. The Burniston sketch at the clothes shop looked good for the lassies, but feel like a dickhead. It's quality. It reminds me of a work colleague. He didn't find it funny for some reason. A lot of the Burniston stuff, I feel like when I watched it when it was out, 25-30% I really enjoyed, and then 70% I was always just like, I don't understand what's going on here. But over time it landed, if that made sense. There's like an absurdity quality to it. Right, guys, we've got 7 minutes left. We're going to call it at 12:15 this evening. Give everybody a nice bedtime. But as always, it's been an absolute pleasure to be in your company, especially with such a loose evening tonight. I hope that the new setup works. Hopefully it's a little bit more. And what's good about this setup is I can get a guest in, like in real life. I can have someone else join the stream on an evening, but I can also do like that. But I now have the space. We've got a couple of people. Max over from Japan. I'm hoping to catch up with him and do a wee kind of couple of bits with him in here. Now, especially now the place is kind of sorted out a lot better. I was looking at, got the space over there for sitting, but now with this setup I can still do podcasts and stuff, maybe at the bar or whatever. Everything's changing a little bit, so it's just, we're getting there. But you'll see the quality. Hopefully you'll see the kind of, not jump in quality, I don't think it's going to be a jump in quality, but just a bit more polished and a bit more less footery, because I was having to change the lighting every time I was doing it and stuff. It was an absolute nightmare. Yeah, it has. It really has, Lowlander, and I think it's a credit to you guys as well, because it's just the chat. It's just everybody just having good conversations. Like, this is only as good as you guys can make it, because it's literally me sat here talking to myself the entire time. Like, when you say it like that, it's tough going. Bouncing crazy dad and uncles featuring a spoonful to speak absurdity. Exactly. We've all been there though. We've all been there. The families. Danny saying, I enjoy all the Ben Nevis releases in the first distillery I ever visited, so motive connection, absolutely. And then James, I'm up the road and over the hill if you're desperate for company. Not quite there yet, yet James, but I'll put the signal, I'll put the Glencairn, the bat signal into the sky. We'll definitely get you round. I'm thinking, what I'm actually thinking about is, I think I've got the tech set up to do it. I just need to test it with a couple of people. But getting you guys involved and having like a dial-in, like almost like a wee phone-in segment for like half an hour, where people just, rather than me saying what's in your glass and you tell me in the chat, you can dial in Like, I say dial in, you just stream in, and we have a wee bit of chat about what's in the glass, and then we move on to the next person to really make it like a proper engaged back and forward. People saying new setup definitely works from the experience of this stream. The bottle cam is a nice addition, and for those who know, now we need a viscometer and a faceometer. Fuck, I'll try. Rob Smith, I talk to myself all the time, and James is saying, cheers, David. You're welcome, mate. I'm only winding you up. You know, I'm winding you up. So. Supermarket's the best place to talk to yourself. No, it's funny. I talk to people, my day job and that, and I do my live stream, and they kind of look at me and they're like, "What's that like?" And I was like, "Well, it's just me having some drams, talking to myself for 2 and a bit hours." And then I think people on the other side, either that or I'm hallucinating them. Has it been confirmed? Is that actually a thing now? But your travelling accommodation for next year's Independent Spirits Festival, Saturday 21st of March. Oh, I could maybe pull that off. That's a week before my birthday. Yeah, I think. Danny, right guys, feeling recharged, post coffee and scran, stay safe and see you soon. Cheers. Danny, thank you for picking the Longrow. It's an absolute cracking dram. And please drive safe. Get home in one piece. Will this phone in be like Priest Chat Father Ted if you want? What I can do is I could even set it up. So you know how like if I go to like this and I've got the rolling ticker, I can put it where I can have the wee boxes and we can make it like Priest Chat. And we can have an 0891 number going along the bottom. The date's on the website. Perfect. I didn't know because originally it was not meant to be a one-off, so I didn't know if it was going to be. So I didn't even know if the website was still a thing. And the Scottish person, what's your day job? If you don't mind me asking, that is my day job is in the world of media, advertising. I've been doing it for like, that's why I live in London these days. Doing it since 2012, long time, and it's not creative. It's not a creative job at all. It's a lot of Excel spreadsheets. But yeah, that's my day job. I would go into more detail, but even my parents still to this day don't understand what I do. And even Jack, when we were in the Highlands, Jack was like, "Oh, I know you've told me before, but can you just explain exactly what exactly do you do?" It's one of those types of jobs. The website just says soon. The Aqua Vito give everyone a heads up on the VPub. Do you remember, was it Scotty McClue? Is that what you're talking about, Alan? I thought it was a Saturday night, but it was like he's doing it. I think he's doing it in TikTok now. Scotty McClue. It's mad, isn't it? It's mad how many people have jobs and you try and explain it to people and they look at you just like, how does that work? I love my job. I've got a really good job. And most of the people in my job know that I do this as a wee hobby. And then Good evening, Herald's Select Bourbon. Have I ever shot any firearms? Funnily enough, I was a rifle instructor in Maine. Genuinely, I am a qualified rifle instructor, so yes, I have. Frank, I'm calling it a day and going to hit the sack. Thanks for organising. Fun stream as usual and all to you. See you next time. /Matt. Frank, always a pleasure. Hope you're keeping well, mate. And I'll see you on the next one. No doubt. And some older guy in all the BAMs called and pissed in the most, you know, when he did his Samaritans chat to them. Oh, what was that? That could literally be this. I could be that Samaritans chat for you guys. Was that Wee Fat Bob on Scott FM? Hunting rifles or battle rifles? Who did you teach for? It was neither. It was recreational, and it was at a camp in deepest, darkest Maine. And at that point, I don't think any of the children that I was teaching how to shoot were in the mindset of hunting or battling, to be fair. Right, guys, we are at 12:18, so I am over time. But as always, thank you for your support. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for all the recommendations in the chat this evening. We are due to come back in a couple of weeks' time. I'm just working out the dates in my head. 16th of August. So on the 16th of August, I should be back as usual. Check my Instagram, keep you updated, because it's easier, to be fair, than having to construct everything on YouTube. But there will be some videos in the meantime that I'm hopeful that you will enjoy. The bottle collection one is going to be a slog. I'm telling you, it's a long video. And I don't know about the ads and stuff on YouTube, so I can only apologise. If you don't have YouTube Premium, it's definitely worth just buying it, because it just shuts up the ads. But yeah, thank you so much for all your support. Thanks to the Patreons, as always. We're going to do another flourish of the guys, because they help keep this going. But as always, thanks for all your support. Thanks for your time, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a good night and a good week. Cheers.